no discussion of mobile marketing would be complete without a discussion of mobile advertising, because mobile advertising is a really important point and mechanism of stimulating interactivity and generating awareness with consumers. It's also a great way of monetizing content. So I could, for instance, I could send text messages and interject at the bottom of the text message advertising, such as what the USA Today newspaper is doing with their financial alert services, for example. They interject advertising at the bottom of each of their messages, and that's a way of delivering the content for free to consumers, and they're able to monetize that content through the selling of advertising space at the bottom of that message. So everybody kind of wins there. Another way of using advertising, for instance, is the mobile enhancement of putting advertising in games or applications on the mobile phone. So as you can see here, there are basically two key players within the world of mobile advertising. There's the advertising buyer, the person that wants to be able to put their ad in the bottom of a message, or in an MMS message, or in an IVR call, or in an application, or on the mobile web, etc. And then there's the mobile advertising publisher, the person who has the media channel, the website, the voice channel, the SMS messaging group, the mobile website, for example. The publisher is the media owner that is going to sell space on within that media to the buyer to be able to initiate and manage the overall mobile advertising channel. Briefly, if you look at this image right here, you'll see how the key players that make this work. There is what we'll call the mobile advertising and network aggregator, who will in turn work with the mobile application provider, who will in turn also coordinate with the mobile search provider to be able to enable the people to search for content, deliver advertising through any of the pathways of the mobile channel that we've been discussing. And so, spend some time on this chart here, and you'll see that we can be using the messaging paths to reach the mobile phone. We could be using any of the internet-enabled paths to reach the mobile phone, and in any of these paths, we can interject advertising to stimulate both a monetization and a means of facilitating the delivery of content to mobile subscribers. How do we do mobile marketing? So we've been talking a lot about what is mobile marketing, but how do we do mobile marketing? There are 4 primary building blocks of any mobile initiative or mobile marketing program. Strategy, creative, planning and execution, and technology are all needed. You need to have the strategy. How are you going to integrate it into your marketing program? You need to have your creative. That's your, the look and feel and call to actions, that imagery that you're going to be, the messaging that you're going to be conveying with the consumer to stimulate that interactivity with them and the value that you'll be delivering with them. You'll also then, as part of launching a mobile initiative, either ad hoc programs that will only last for a small period of time, or say a mobile website that will exist in perpetuity that you'll update over time. You need to have planning and execution. How are you actually going to tactically execute all of the steps that are needed to launch and run a mobile initiative? And then finally, what technology are you going to use? As you saw from our discussion on the mobile marketing ecosystem, there are so many different pieces of technology needed for launching and running mobile initiatives. You have your text messaging programs, mobile advertising network pieces, multimedia messaging services, connections with the connection aggregators, software that manages the short codes and the keywords and the processing. You're going to look for technology that can help you drive and do that. So if these are the 4 key building blocks of mobile marketing, how do companies typically do that? Well, if we go backwards and we reverse back to about 1999, when the ecosystem was not yet mature and the keys to mass market applicability weren't there, companies had to do it all. Fast forward 10 years, the ecosystem has matured, the tectonic plates with the ecosystem have delineated themselves, so you now have the connection sphere and the application sphere, and you have the products and service sphere and the marketing agencies. And we now see, as in any industry, as industries matures, firms specializing in particular areas within the ecosystem, such as connection aggregators are specializing in providing connectivity to the mobile operator networks. Marketing agencies are continuing to specialize in providing strategy and creativity and assistance with the technological planning. And then you see application providers within the mobile ecosystem, SMS providers, mobile internet providers, content providers, players like an iLoopMobile that are aggregating all of those mass market capabilities into a self-administrable platform. You'll see people like an iLoopMobile specializing in the technology side of the industry. So as you'll see in this chart, then there's two ways that people are going about doing this. You'll tend to see people coming from the top-down approach, where they're going to focus on strategy and creative and may dabble a little bit in technology or execution, or they're taking the bottom-up approach, where they're focusing on the technology elements, will significantly help with planning and execution, but yet won't be necessarily have all of the expertise in creative and strategy. Because again, the industry has matured enough where we need experts and committed players in each of the different elements. No one company really can do it all today, because the mobile channel and the opportunities in mobile are just too great. And so these are kind of the four building blocks and the two strategies that companies tend to take when they service players within the mobile marketing ecosystem. With this story in mind, then, there are essentially four approaches that people can take. They can take an agency approach, where they can go to a marketing agency and say, here are my objectives, this is what I want to get out of my marketing initiatives, but I don't care how it gets done. I don't want to know how it gets done. Please take care of everything for me, the strategy, the creative planning and execution, and address the technical issues for me too. Just achieve my objectives for me. And so just so you know, when an agency does that, the company that you make sure that when you're talking to that agency, find out which of the four blocks that they specialize in and which of the four blocks they'll outsource to a particular partner. So, but that's how a typical marketer or a brand marketer might take and engage in mobile marketing. They'll take an agency approach. The next approach is a do-it-yourself approach, where you're actually going to handle all four of these blocks yourself and bring it in-house and do it yourself. The next approach would be a platform approach, where you're going to take strategy, creative, planning, and execution, do it yourself, license access to a platform, such as, for instance, the iLoopMobile Infinity platform, and then self-administer and manage the other three building blocks yourself. So that's another approach to launching and running mobile initiatives, and we'll call that the platform approach. And then finally, there's a hybrid approach, where you'll intermix any of the four. You'll get a platform, you still may use an agency for strategy, but keep creative and planning and execution in-house. So these are the four approaches that you want to think about when running and launching your mobile initiatives: agency, do-it-yourself, platform, and hybrid. And so when you're sitting down to think about what your marketing plan is and what your strategy is on how you're going to implement against your mobile marketing, or against your overall marketing plan, and specifically how you'll be interjecting mobile into it, think about these four approaches and which of the four blocks within these approaches that you want to own yourself, and that will help you understand how you want to launch and run your mobile initiatives.